our Law and Justice segment tonight, an underreported story if there ever was one. Congressional lawmakers are recommending criminal prosecution of the company that took care of Hillary Clinton's private email server. The charge they're recommending? Obstruction of justice. The mainstream media won't cover the story, though. If this story were reversed, if it were a Democrat calling for the prosecution of an associate of Donald Trump, the media would go wild. They would run with this story. Instead, they're scared to speak up. So we'll cover it for you. With me now from the Washington Free Beacon, Adam Kredo. Adam, good to see you.
Nice to be with you. Thanks for having me.
All right, Adam, first of all, the mainstream media are just cowards on this story, absolute cowards. If this were reversed, it would be blasting on every headline of every news network, every publication possible. Instead, you really have to dive into the depths of the internet to get the real story, the real facts of this. But the fact of the matter is, the company that actually set up Hillary Clinton's private email server, they're under investigation, federal investigation right now.
Yeah, they are, and I think you're right about attention paid to the story. I try not to criticize the press because I happen to be part of it, for better or worse, but this really was horribly undercovered. The committee investigating this Clinton server network held a conference call with reporters. I don't think more than 4 or 5 people were on it. That's truly horrendous, because you're right, it would be the opposite if it was focused on Trump. But essentially what we're looking at here is the company that maintained and set up Clinton's home-brewed server, that email server. What they've done is not replied for over a year now to congressional requests for information, documents, all of these types of things related not just to the security and infrastructure of the server, but related also to the way they installed this server. I think we know that classified information had been passing back and forth, and it's a major issue if it was subjected to hacks. One thing this committee in Congress does know is that, in fact, that did happen, because there were 2 other companies that complied fully with the congressional investigation. So the server was hacked. These guys are keeping their mouths shut.
Right. And this is Platte River Networks, of course. But explain to me how this works, because if you ignore a subpoena, I mean, everyday Americans, if you ignored one or if I ignored one, we'd be hauled off to jail. I mean, you can't just ignore a court summons that way. That's a crime.
No, you can, and certainly from Congress in the advisory role, and certainly in terms of their job to really do this type of oversight. That's why they have subpoena power. That's why they have legal authority. Now, for prosecution, this has to be referred to the Justice Department, and coming from Congress carries some weight, but the Trump administration, DOJ, will have to decide for themselves if they're willing to actually see this through, and I think that's what the company is betting on now. They've remained silent. I've tried to talk to them at several points over the past year or so. They refer you to their legal counsel, who will say nothing.
Right. It's astonishing to me, because this is even past the point of just them, the individual, the CEO, breaking the law here. I mean, this is a matter of national security. Like you said, there were 2 other tech companies who dealt with this email server at one time or another. They've complied with congressional requests, because we need to know who hacked into her server. It's a very high likelihood, almost a certainty, that someone did. If Platte River Networks, if this company complied with the subpoenas, gave Congress the information, the documentation that they need, would we actually know which foreign powers accessed that classified information on Hillary's server?
I think we'd have a very good start at investigating it. What the committee knows so far is that hacks came from inside the U.S., North Korea, Russia, other entities, but it's unclear whether it was a rogue actor or a nation state, that is, the actual government's trying to hack in. I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, to see foreign governments trying to get into an insecure homespun server for the Secretary of State. But what's interesting about Platte River in particular is that their responses to Congress has been that they don't have any records that fit under the guise of the subpoena. What we've learned from the 2 other companies that complied is, in fact, they do, because these companies warned Platte River about security flaws. So that's where we get the charge of obstruction. And I think there are other criminal charges here pending that could be applied to the situation. Right.
And I would just say to them, yeah, right. I mean, unless they took a hammer and bleach bit to their records too, which I guess, given their association with Hillary Clinton, is possible. But in regards to who hacked into the server, I mean, it could be the actual foreign entities themselves. It could be intermediaries. I mean, we know that happens, that kind of individuals for hire, hackers for hire, are sort of subcontracted by these intelligence agencies. So that could be the case too. But would we be able to know what information was accessed to? Because part of the reason we classify information, obviously, is because it could cause damage. If someone else knows it, we need to know what potential damage could go on. Would we be able to identify what information was hacked?
It's possible, but it also depends not only on the information that Platte River has, but also the server itself. We know that a lot of the hard drives have been scrubbed and wiped, so it might be difficult to find precise information that might have been compromised. We might be able to view the larger picture, but I think it's going to be difficult to hammer down, but that'll be left for kind of forensic investigators who know how to go over servers and databases and this type of thing. I would also note, because I think it's very important, one of the employees for Platte River is suspected, and it's not been proven, but highly suspected on good evidence of having taken to Reddit to pose questions to the Reddit audience about how he does proper internet security. And I think that's noteworthy here too. And Platte River has again referred everybody to their lawyers when they asked about this. Right,
which is what every innocent person generally does. Adam, we're out of time. Let me ask you this quick question though, and that is this subpoena that was issued to Platte River Networks. This is over a year now. President Trump's only been president for 3 months. That means at least 7, 8, 9 months, depending on exactly what month it was issued. This subpoena was under President Obama's administration. Did the Obama administration ignore the ignored subpoenas from this network?
Well, it's not that the administration ignored it. They certainly ignored that it was an issue Congress was investigating. The members of Congress and Lamar Smith, who heads the Congressional Committee, made very clear in comments that he gave to me and other reporters that the reason they're recommending prosecution now is because they knew under the Obama DOJ this would be totally forgotten. The Trump DOJ has already said on the day of that this information was disclosed. They've got it and they're looking into it. I think that's a very positive first step, whereas under the Obama administration, this would have been just kicked right under the rug with a lot of other things.
Right, which is a shame. It shouldn't be a partisan thing. We should investigate right or wrong, no matter what side of the aisle these people are on.
Yes.
Adam, thanks for being here today. It was great to talk to you.